Tom Dwan...
No, he checks. He gives it up.
That's smart. I like the way Tom Dwan played this hand, and I like the way Chris Ferguson played this hand. Sometimes you're both right. Chris Ferguson gets the luck of the river card.
Unlucky break for Tom Dwan, and Chris Ferguson adds to his lead. He is now the overwhelming winner in this cash game so far.
Well, that's pot control shown by Chris Jesus Ferguson. Kept the pot small enough where he could play that till it was the winning hand.
I'm Chris Ferguson, 2000 World Champion of Poker. I've played poker all my life. I don't remember when I learned the game. I'm sure my parents taught it to me at some point. It was 1994, so when I really decided to take the game seriously and study the game, trying to be one of the best poker players in the world. It's not something that I decided to become a professional poker player. I played poker because I love playing poker, and eventually I was making more money playing poker than anything else. And that's when I realized I was a professional poker player.
The lovely dealer, Donna, doles out the cards. Buttons in front of the Finnish superstar, Patrick Antonius.
Table's still dwelling on that last hand a little bit.
It's a huge hand.
Asking what would have happened if Tom Dwan would have shipped it there, and he was considering it. I was right. I thought he might make a big bet or no bet.
Well, Dwan picks up the aces.
Well, that'll help console him a little bit from that last pot.
7-2. Pass.
And he makes it 7,200. Now we had the original raise under the gun from Alan Cunningham. He made it 2,000.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
This is an unbelievable spot for Tom Dwan. Now, any other player, Patrick Antonius maybe gets away from the kings, but Tom Dwan with the aces?
That's why Tom Dwan gets so much action. He plays so many hands. He mixes it up. When this happens, he gets paid off.
Oh, this is unreal. Just to recap here, Alan Cunningham under the gun raised it up
19.
with pocket threes. Tom Dwan has re-raised it with the aces to 7,200, and Patrick Antonius with pocket kings has made it 19,000.
You know, if Tom Dwan plays this tricky, this could get real expensive for Patrick Antonius.
Pass.
And both players are very deep. Antonius has $371,000 in front of him. Tom Dwan, $250,000 in front of him.
Well, that's why we could see a wide variety of ways to play this. We could see a re-raise right here by Tom Dwan just to get the pot pumped up. We could see a flat call. I think that as deep as the stacks are, I prefer a re-raise. Go ahead and put a little more money in the pot. The thing is this, the way that Tom Dwan's table image is, I think it looks great to go ahead and re-raise right here. I think he gets paid off by even queens, maybe jacks, ace-king.
I mean, obviously he's got Patrick Antonius dominated, but he's only a 4-1 favorite. He's going to lose 1 out of 5 times against those kings.
That's why I like a re-raise right here. Take the lead on this pot. Make it 19, make it 50-something. 55, 60. Make it really tough on Patrick Antonius and help define the hand as well.
47,600.
I like it.
And he makes it 47,600. You said 50-something, pretty close.
Yeah. Back in good old 93, when raise, re-raise, re-raise. They had kings raises.
Not anymore.
I was back in the good old days.
What's that?
When you knew what they had, it was this action.
It was kings raises.
Yeah. Well, that's how it is in these days, except when you're playing with these guys. Everybody had to put out tapes on how to play. It's your fault. You ruined everything. It's like nobody knew how to play. That was like the last year.
Patrick trying to work this one out.
In the world became superstars, especially 07, 08.
Patrick Antonius started the pot with 371,000. Tom Dwan, 250,000. And look at this.
Oh, my gosh.
Cool.
Patrick Antonius is all in. Tom Dwan calls immediately.
They did have the aces and kings.
What'd you say? They don't have aces and kings when to raise, re-raise, re-raise?
I guess they do sometimes.
And we have a monster $500,000 chip pot. Unbelievable turn of events here. Aces versus kings.
Well, we've got
it's Tom Dwan's dream here and Patrick Antonius' nightmare.
We've got a house in the middle of this pot. This isn't a poker hand. This is a house. I mean, look at the size of this pot.
Good luck, boys.
Patrick Antonius really thought long and hard about flat calling. Now I wish he did.
Well, here's the flop. It needs a king.
Oh my
I can't
gosh!
believe it. It's unbelievable.
At least the pizza's here.
Oh, my. Tom Dwan gets all his chips in. This is a $500,000 pot.
Anyone have an ace?
Unbelievable. What a turn of events.
Dwan needs an ace and only an ace.
Well, there's just $500,000 in the pot. That's all.
And here's the turn. It's the Queen of Hearts.
Oh,
Tom Dwan
cards.
down to 1 card and only 2 outs, or he is going to lose a $500,000 pot.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
He's got to be about to puke right now.
I'll take 100 more.
I'm about to puke. It's the 4 of spades. Oh,
Wow. Wow. Just like that.
I mean, what is he feeling right now? You've played poker your whole life. What's he feeling right now? $500,000 in the pot. He got his money in good, and he loses. Patrick Antonius just won himself $250,000.
Yeah, he's got to be physically feeling like he's going to be sick. I mean, those situations happen. He got his money in with the best of it. Sometimes, like I always say, some days chicken, some days feathers. Right now, Tom Dwan is choking on those feathers.
I know. I swear this sounds crazy, but when that hand got turned up, I said, "Good luck, boys." I swear I felt the king coming.
We'll have a quick word with Tom Dwan. There's not really much one can say other than when your aces get cracked, it's a case of ouch, isn't it? I mean, how philosophical are you about a hand like that?
I wish I had won. If that counts as philosophical, it's about as far as I go on the philosophical part.
Get a feeling that something like that's going to happen or not?
Well, I mean, the card's flipped over, and I know I'm going to lose sometimes and win most of the time, and that time I lost. Whatever happens, it's part of poker. You always need to be ready for it to happen. You gotta just move on and keep playing.
Hello and welcome back to the FullTiltPoker.net $1 million cash game. And the tables have been turned, especially for Tom Dwan, who is now down $200,000. Now we're talking about a $700,000 swing. He flopped bottom 2 pair against Chris Ferguson, an unlucky river against him, and then his aces against Patrick Antonius' kings went up in flames. Antonius, by the way, now up $224,000. Tom Dwan down $200,000. How can he come back from this?
Well, if anybody can come back from being down $200,000, it's Tom Dwan.
He rebought for an extra $100,000. He's now in for $200,000. He's in the game for $400,000.
Yeah, I had a feeling with the stack sizes the way they were that we would see Tom Dwan definitely add on another $100,000. And I guess from my lips to his ears, one way or the other, it was the right play.
Tom Dwan, a phenomenal player, didn't have much luck in the $1 million cash game Season 3, and that trend is holding true in Season 4 as well.
Well, this one, he's gotten real unlucky. I don't know that he's misplayed these 2 hands. I actually like the way he played them. But, you know, sometimes luck plays a factor in this.
Well, Patrick Antonius has raised it up with the Queen-Jack. Andrew Feldman going to call it with the suited ace, ace-9 of hearts. Gus Hansen in the big blind with King-Jack offsuit. It's a tough hand to play out of position, but Gus Hansen's not one to throw away a hand, is he?
I was going to say, 2 face cards, a little pre-flop raise. Nah, I don't think we'll see anything but a flat call here from Gus.
Cool.
And that's exactly what you do see. You see the flat call. Pot is now $7,300. Here's the flop. Wow, what a flop for Andrew Feldman. Ace, king, 4, couple of hearts out there. He's got top pair and the nut flush draw.
I wouldn't be surprised at all if it checks around to Andrew Feldman. If he checks it back, why get tangled up with a bigger ace? And give him a free card.
Yeah, Patrick Antonius has got a gut shot to Broadway, but he needs to catch a 10 that's not a heart. Gus Hansen, he's got second pair. Can catch a king or a jack, as long as the jack is not a heart. And Andrew Feldman's going to bet $4,200.
Well, we might see somebody get out there on air, but that's the only way we'd see it, I think.
Well, it's a pretty smallish bet. He's betting about 50% of the pot.
Look at this, I think. And Gus Hansen has flat called.
Yeah, he flat called here.
5.
Turn is the 5 of clubs.
Check.
And Gus is going to check. He gives the old finger check. And Andrew Feldman. Now, does he take the card here, or does he think he's ahead? I mean,
It's a tough spot.
there aren't many cards
Yeah.
that can hurt him. I mean, he's
Yeah.
only going to lose to a king or a jack that's not a heart. Here's the river.
10.
The 10. Oh, wow. And Patrick Antonius would have made Broadway this queen jack with
Sure
the 10 of
would've.
spades there.
Sure would have.
Andrew Feldman in the lead.
Check.
Well, Gus Hansen's going to hope his kings are good.
I do love a small value bet. You know, something like 6,500, a little less than half the pot. But that's about all he could bet because otherwise he's going to get called by only hands that could beat him.
And, of course, if he does bet 6,500, he opens himself up to the big check raise. Gus Hansen.
Is very capable of making that. Yeah, so that's why maybe if he does bet, he bets more.
10,000.
Well, he bets 10,000. He's going to bet pretty much 2/3 of the pot.
Well,
Pot now $25,700, and it's 10,000 back to Gus Hansen.
you know, wild
Frisky.
there, a little frisky, and re-raises him, and then he's got a tough decision. So that's probably why he bet 2/3 the pot.
Well, Gus Hansen, a decision here. And after the monster pots we've just seen, this looks like a small pot, but the pot is $25,700.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a laydown by Gus because it looks like
No.
Andrew Feldman has a weak ace.
Well, Gus Hansen's going to call there. It's a crying call.
Wow.
And Andrew Feldman, great value bet there on the river by him.
Surprised. It
Gets
felt-
called by the king, and Gus Hansen gives away $10,000 there. The Great Dane can't be happy with that one.
Yeah, he usually makes that read.
I'm really looking forward to playing with Gus Hansen because everyone says Gus is just a great person to have on the table, and Mike Mattisau also, he's a very good character. Patrick Antonius, I just see him as like an absolute robot, and he's just so composed, so hard to pick up on reads. And obviously Phil Ivey will be very intimidating as he's just like achieved everything there is.
It's the FullTiltPoker.net $1 million cash game. I'm David Tuckman alongside Robert Williamson III, and we have been witnessing quite the poker game.
Absolutely. What a game this is. And the game is on. When Tom Dwan gets loser, he's always got a lot of gamble anyway, but when he's loser, the game is on.
Yeah, Dwan is now down $205,000. Patrick Antonius, as if he need any help getting the ladies.
Well, luck be a lady tonight.
And what a shocker, Tom Dwan. He is in there with the 10-7 offsuit.
6. 8.
Now, 10-7,
He's got a gut shot. Gutter ball.
Antonius, though, he's got to like his queens right now.
Definitely. I think we're going to see a lead. He'll lead at this. 6,000. Between 5 and 6,000. He usually likes to lead a little bigger bets. He might even lead 6,500.
That's 7,000.
Well, he bet 7,000. It is a big lead, like you said. And the one thing about all these poker players, all these phenomenal poker players, the one constant, they all take a long time at the decisions. They're very deliberate.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think anytime you're playing deep stack poker, especially like they're playing, it's more important to take your time for many reasons. One, to think the hand through thoroughly, but two, also to position.
I mean, look at all the straight draws out there.
Yeah.
5-7's a straight draw, 9-7's a straight draw, 9-10 is a straight draw.
22.6.
Raise 22,600. 22,600 total.
Pot is 38,400. Tom Dwan has raised this up to 22,600. Now, this is the interesting thing. We saw this earlier from Tom Dwan. It seems like when he's got something, or if he's got a draw, he'll often just call there. He seems to be raising it only when he's either flopped a monster, like a set, or in this case, kind of
A drawing.
pretty much nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
like a slight draw.
Right, like a semi-bluff, but more of a bluff than a semi-bluff because he's got only a few outs. Yeah, you know, that's a pretty dry board. I know there's a lot of straight draws. I would have rather have flat called and waited till a scare card came on the turn that puts a straight out there. I don't like this raise by Tom Dwan at all.
Raise
And a re-raise by Patrick Antonius.
57,000.
And the re-raise by Patrick Antonius. He's re-raised it back to 57,000.
Well,
I don't. Now, Tom Dwan only he started this hand with 195,000.
we'll see one of two things here. We'll see a fold by Tom Dwan or an all-in. I don't think we'll see anything short of it.
I mean, can he move all in? I mean, at this point,
Absolutely.
Has Patrick Antonius? I mean, can Patrick Antonius fold the queens at this point?
He can. He doesn't have enough money in the pot. He can get away from this still. So it's actually Patrick Antonius gave him the right leverage for Tom Dwan to move all in right here.
Cool.
Wow. A flat call by Tom Dwan. I don't like that at all. That's a strange flat call there.
Well, let's see the turn.
Wise.
Well, if there's any safe card in the deck, it was the deuce of clubs.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see a pretty big bet from Patrick Antonius here.
I mean, the way Dwan has played this hand, I mean, it's almost as if he's either slow playing. I mean, he smooth called the second raise with a set. I guess a straight draw is a possibility, but he really played this very strange, a very odd line to take.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I figured a call was the only thing he wouldn't do on the turn, so this one's shaping up real bad for Tom Dwan. He's played it so that he can't win the pot.
Well, now Patrick Antonius has pot committed himself, and Tom Dwan's got to throw his cards in the muck. I mean, Patrick Antonius bet 75,000.
That's why it was such a bad call. He's got to either move all in right there or muck it, because he can't call any lead unless a dangerous card comes, and even then, I don't think he's going to get Patrick away from his hand.
Now, Tom Dwan, obviously a fantastic poker player. Not taking anything away from him. But even the best players in the world have been known to go on tilt. Do you think right now, Tom Dwan, after losing with 4-deuce when he flops bottom two pair, after losing with pocket aces, is he maybe tilting just a little bit?
I don't think he's tilting at all. I think he's playing his style of poker, and that's keeping the pressure on his opponents.
Cool.
Well, Hansen going to play. Ace-10 offsuit. He's going to limp in.
He limps in that position with a wide range of hands.
Yeah, we've seen that. Well, Antonius is going to call. Not suited queen.
That's the computer hand, Queen 7. Known as the computer hand because it's what's considered an average hand.
Now, Andrew Feldman, after a couple of limps, you're in the small blind with ace-jack offsuit. You know the kind of range that Gus Hansen and Patrick Antonius have. Is this a re-raise spot?
Well, it's one of two things. Play it tricky and just flat call and see what the flop brings. Or I think you're going to get called even if you raise pre-flop. I like what he did. I like just a flat call.
He picked option one. He just flat called, played it tricky. Well, he's flop top pair. But now he doesn't quite know where he's at because Ferguson has flopped second pair. Antonius has flopped bottom pair. And Gus Hansen with the gut shot straight draw.
Yeah, you're right. That's the only problem with this kind of a flop with Andrew Feldman's hand. But as long as the pot stays relatively small, he can stick around.
Play a little small ball here.
Absolutely. Pot control right here. This is total a pot control hand.
Pot is now $7,500.
Wouldn't be surprised if we saw a call with a gut shot in middle pair from Chris Ferguson either. Wouldn't be outside of the realm of possibility.
Cool.
And he's going to call. I thought maybe we might even see a raise there from Ferguson, see if he could take this one away. He's kind of played those sneaky, aggressive plays every once in a while, playing for his image. 5 of diamonds.
Well, it gives Chris Ferguson another gut shot.
Yeah, exactly. Normally you'd think that doesn't change anything, but now actually Chris Ferguson with the double gutter can catch a 6 or a 10.
Yeah, that definitely helped Chris's hand.
A 9 will also win it for him. The 8, though. All the 8 does is give Gus Hansen a straight.
Yeah, this is actually a kind of a tricky hand for Gus to play. He gets called by one of the tighter players at the table, and it's an overcall.
I mean, to me, when Chris Ferguson overcalls, you got to be running for the exits, don't you?
Yeah, that's when you start to not like this hand very much. I think, well, I guess Gus is playing power poker, trying to money whip him.
Now, he is in the pot with the 2 tightest players at the table so far. From what I've seen today, Andrew Feldman and Chris Ferguson, definitely the 2 tightest players at this table. Yeah, Gus Hansen is trying to blow them both out of the hand.
Wow.
Well,
And Andrew Feldman folds top pair just like that. And I suspect we might see the same thing from Chris Ferguson, but with 2 gut shots, that's tough to fold.
As high as your gut shot, but
well, the interesting thing, Andrew Feldman, he kind of underrepresented his hand by not raising preflop, then didn't bet out, gave the betting lead to Gus Hansen, and allowed himself to get bluffed off the hand.
no, I'm saying I think
Right now, the action on Chris Ferguson, the pot is $17,400, and he's got a decision to make. It's $7,700 to him.
Yeah, I think there's at least a 70% chance Chris Ferguson's going to call here. I just have a gut feeling that he has enough outs, even if he doesn't have the best hand right now.
Cool.
And he does call.
He is going to call. Now,
Yeah,
what's
I
he
was
going to
pretty
do?
sure.
What's he going to do on the river if he misses? What if a deuce comes off on the river?
I think he's going to check and then make a decision if Gus makes a big bet or not.
Well, let's see what happens.
Oh,
wow. Well, it's the third diamond out there. It also completes Gus Hansen's straight.
But it also gives Chris Ferguson 2 pair. There's 4 to a straight. A 6 or a 10 makes a straight. This is a tough spot for Chris Ferguson for sure, but I think he can get away from this.
I mean, the way Gus Hansen has played this hand, would you put him on a 10?
check.
Not necessarily, but he could easily have something like Jack 10, top pair with a gut shot. Yeah, I think we'll see a value bet here from Gus Hansen, hoping that Chris has a 6 or some kind of 2 pair hand. I'd be surprised if we didn't see a value bet from Gus Hansen. 15,000 or roughly.
And those are the $25,000 chips.
22,000 bet.
And he bets $22,000.
Wow.
And I think there was no question we were going to see a value bet.
Yeah.
He was betting with nothing the whole way. Finally, he hits his hand. Why not bet?
You know, the ironic part is I was thinking a value bet would be half or maybe a little more than half the pot. He bets nearly the whole pot. Maybe he's representing a bluff now.
Well, that's the one thing about Gus Hansen that makes him so dangerous. He's so unconventional. Normally, when you'd think, okay, value bet time, maybe we're going to bet half the pot. That's exactly what he kind of throws everything out the window, and he goes for it all.
And the glasses have come off, ladies and gentlemen.
Mike Matasso summarizes the situation.
Well, Mike the Mouth said it the best. The glasses come off. Chris Ferguson got to think this one through. He's made 2 pair. To me, and you're the pro, but to me, Gus Hansen either has to have a flush or either has to have some sort of a straight
Yeah.
to bet this.
Or air.
Or nothing at all, exactly.
Or air. Yeah.
No, Chris Ferguson certainly taking his time with this one. And you know what? You can't blame him. $22,000. There's Melissa Hayden, Alan Cunningham standing up. Everybody standing up watching this one. Well, very excited. We're talking about a $50,000 pot up for grabs.
I think the part that's confusing Chris Ferguson is the size of the bet. It looks like either air or a big hand by Gus Hansen because he bet so much. He bet almost the entire pot.
Well, Ferguson's got the black chip in his hand. It looks like he's definitely considering this call.
Flip a coin, Chris.
I'd be surprised, real surprised if Chris Ferguson calls here.
I think the size of the bet is exactly what's confused him. Let's see. He takes one more check. Yep, I do have 2 pair. Here's the chip I call.
Wow.
I have a 10.
Your hand's good.
And it's a great bet by Gus Hansen.
Wow. Can't believe that. Really thought Chris Ferguson would make that lay down. Fairly surprised.
Yeah, you got to imagine the big bet by Gus Hansen. It looked like a bluff, and that's exactly why he made that big bet.
Yeah, I'll let you get there.
Chris Ferguson fell for it.
Yeah.
Pays him off $22,000.
Well played by Gus Hansen. It's a great day.
That's the new Gus.
Hit back goal
He makes the right decisions.
Well, we have certainly had some colourful poker under the bright lights here in central London. Plenty more of the same guaranteed next time. We'll see you then, but from all the team, it's bye for now.
They're great players. It's not a pushover field at all.
It's like the toughest field in like history.
Not playing good enough to beat these guys.
We just saw poker history made right here tonight.
If you're not excited, check your pulse.